Good evening to my dear viewers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Arun Reddy here. Please watch, share and subscribe. In today's class, we would like to discuss the next part of investment management for 5 marks question. So the question is investment decision process. So what is the question? Investment decision process. ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ನಿರ್ಧಾರದ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Investment process is different. Investment decision process is different. So now how investment decision can be taken by an investor? Let us go through the 5 important steps. So the first step is to understand the clients or investor. First thing is, before investment we want to know what kind of investors are there. So that is called as a understanding the clients or investors. ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ. Second step is asset allocation decision ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. How the asset is going to allocate. Based on that we should take the decision. So this is the second important steps in a decision making. ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಲಿತೀವಿ. So the third step is portfolio strategy selection, means selection of a portfolio ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ತಗೋತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಫೋಲಿಯೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಸಿಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಸಿಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್. ವಿಚ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಫೈನಲೈಸ್, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಸಿಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ನಿರ್ಧಾರವನ್ನ ಪರಿಗಣಿಸಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಹಂತ ಬರ್ತಾವ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಫೋಲಿಯೋ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಫೋಲಿಯೋ. ಸೊ ಆ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಫೋಲಿಯೋನ ನಾವು ಮೌಲ್ಯೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಒನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. So it is very easy to understand that investor concentrate on 3 important words, like a return oriented, like a risk oriented, like a tax benefit oriented, like that. So investor always want high return with a low risk ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೈ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ವಿತ್ ಲೋ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ investor point of view. So always he try to evaluate the security on the basis of tax status anta navalli karitu. If the tax status is good, or you can say less, so the investor always try to invest the money anta. And we have to understand the need of an investor. Always the investor need is very important in relation with clients or investor psychology anta navalli ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So in case of investor psychology, there are 2 important words. One is the identification of a need of an investor. Always the need of an investor is on the basis of return and risk oriented. At the same time, tax benefit is also necessary. Return should be high and the risk should be low. In second case, in case of asset allocation decision, so the mainly the allocation of investment in different asset classes, that is fixed income security, like equity and real estate. So asset allocation decision is another important investment decision. Here the asset is going to divide like a fixed income security, like a variable income security. Take for example preference share. It is a fixed return oriented security, like a fixed preferential dividend. Take for example debenture. Debenture is also fixed interest bearing security. So that's what fixed rate of return is there. At the same time, we take for example equity. Equity is a different equity is a less variation oriented security ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಒಳಗ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಸೊ ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಫೋಲಿಯೋ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಚೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ರೈಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಫಾರ್ ಅ portfolio, because there is a bunch of securities available for an investment. So as an investor he should always try to select the best one. So in front of investor there are so many options, either equity, preference, debenture, like that many options is available. That is called as a bunch. So among that bunch of a security he can select any one anta navalli helbodu. So adralli he is always try to have 2 strategy. One is a active management strategy he should follow, or else passive management strategy he should follow. What is the active management strategy and what is the passive management strategy? Active management strategy means high risk and high return strategy. He always investor ready to take the high risk. There is a one universal formula is there. If you take high risk, high return is possible. If you take low risk, low return is possible. At the same time, what is the passive strategy? Moderate risk and moderate return. This is called as a risk return trade-off antanu karitu ನಾವು. Risk return trade-off ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತು. So this is all purely depend on the psychology of an investor. Some investor always want to take the more risk and some investor don't want to take the risk. Those person who want to take the risk, they will always prefer the private securities. Those who don't want to take the risk, they will always prefer the risk free oriented securities ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಹೈ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇರ್ತಾವ ರಿಟರ್ನ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ moderate risk oriented ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇರ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ನಾವಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ in case of a fourth asset selection decision, always the asset is going to selected on the basis of two way, either equity or bond. Equity means there is a more risk, bond means there is a less risk. This is also purely depend on the investor psychology. And the last thing, evaluation of a portfolio. Evaluation means analyze. After analyzing, the investor come into conclusion which is good for a investment. That is considered as a measure the performance of a investment. So what the investor is doing, he is supposed to evaluate or measure the performance of a investment. So what actually the investment has to perform, whether it is good or bad, whether it is less or more, like that. And the investment objective is achieved or not, whether the investment objective is completely achieved or not, that is also analyzed by the investor. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಈಡೇರಿದೆಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಅದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಹೂಡಿಕೆದಾರರ ಕಾರ್ಯದಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇದರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ portfolio evaluation ಬರ್ತದೆ. So this is the investment decision process. Total 5 steps. One is understanding the client, second one is asset allocation decision, and third one is a portfolio selection strategy, and fourth one is asset selection decision, and fifth one is evaluating the portfolio on this basis. Thanks for watching my video. Please do subscribe and share.